Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Global Renaissance Podcast. I'm your host, Trevor Barron. I got a special guest with me today, the founder of Diaspora Mass, Edosa. How you doing today, bro?
Doing good, boss.
Nice to be here. I'm glad that you came through. I'm super curious as to your story. I know you do actually a lot of stuff, and so we can get into that. But first and foremost, for anybody who doesn't know you, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Edosa Osemwegie. I'm Nigerian. I graduated from the University of Massachusetts Amherst last year, and that's pretty much the basic breakdown.
Perfect. So I want to start with, like you said, you're Nigerian. I have a ton of Nigerian friends. There are a ton of Nigerian folks at Harvard. And you guys are very proud of your culture. And that's something I really appreciate. And obviously that's kind of led you to partially create Diaspora. And we'll get into that. But talk about that first and foremost. Were you born in Nigeria? Were you born here?
Yeah, I was born in Italy.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were born in Italy. When did you come over here?
I came to the States when I was like about 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right, that's interesting. So, talk to me about one. Was there like a kind of culture shock when you got here? Obviously, you were 5, so you weren't super old.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the transition like coming from Italy to here? And then how did your identity as a Nigerian American kind of grow as you got older?
Yeah. I was 5, so it wasn't really that much of a I guess culture shock, but I guess growing up as a Nigerian American, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I never really knew like what it was to be a Nigerian until probably like my preteens,
Mm-hmm.
but what I remember is, going to African parties, Nigerian music always playing, growing up with, all the African kids, Nigerian kids in particular. And, it was a good time,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
Got you. And so you said you didn't really know what it meant to be Nigerian until you got to your preteens. Once you made that realization, how important did it become for you to represent that?
Yeah, very important. So I went to a predominantly white elementary school,
Mm-hmm.
and like a lot of people that go to PWIs, like I almost had like an identity crisis,
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to relate so badly with my white classmates, and like I was dealing with those issues,
Mm-hmm.
and what it meant to have like Italian citizenship.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And so I was learning a lot about who I was, about race issues and stuff like that. I went to Nigeria the summer of 6th grade,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really where like just my life changed.
Got you. And so, you're going to a predominantly white elementary school. Who were the people who really introduced you to Nigerian culture? Was it your family? Was it your parents, your extended family, maybe friends you had? Who were the people who were that kind of main influence in helping you understand that part of your identity?
Main people were really, it was my family.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, going to these parties, it was always, I saw people, dressed in their native attire. And, people were just happy to be African, and I could always relate with that, but it was always different, outside of, going to these parties. I never really embraced being African until like I went to school in Nigeria.
Got you. Wait, so you ended up going to school in Nigeria when?
I was, how old was I know it was a summer. I was going to the 6th grade, so it was the summer of the 6th grade.
Got you. And how long were you out there?
4 years.
4 years. So you basically, up until the beginning of high school, you were in Nigeria. Now, okay, that's a point in which you might notice a kind of difference in culture. So what was that like now? You're going from the States to school in Nigeria. What was that experience like?
Big change, bro. Honestly, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I'd be who I am today, where I am today. I needed that. as much as like I could tell you right now, like, would I want to go back? No.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I didn't really enjoy my experience, but that experience was needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just became I became it. I became very disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it disciplined me a lot. You know, it was just, a huge culture shock. Like, it made you really take things for granted. You know, I feel like a lot of people who are, I feel like a lot of Americans take things for granted.
Yeah.
You know, and going to Nigeria, like things that like that people see are like almost like basic necessities in Nigeria, it's a luxury.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not just Nigeria, but other countries like it too.
Yeah. Got you. And so, is that the reason you didn't enjoy your experience? Was it other things going on that kind of made you like, I didn't really enjoy that so much, or was it mostly that like it's just kind of a different dynamic in terms of the resources available and just the lifestyle that you're living?
Yeah, because when my dad said we're going to Nigeria, initially I thought it was for vacation. That's how they got me, bro. That's how they got me, bro. It was like, oh, on some vacation stuff. I was like, all right, cool. You know, weeks turned to months, and I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be back in school in September.
Mm-hmm.
And in Nigeria, they don't start school till October. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, he got me.
And so you were there for 4 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so then when coming back, do you know what the reason was? Like, were your parents just like, we want to, have you do high school in the States, or what was that process like?
I think it was so they have like the way they do it is like so their secondary school is like GSS1, GSS2, GSS3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 3 years of like middle school.
Gotcha.
And then their high school over there is like SS1, SS2, SS3. So I was in SS2, and then after SS2 you go to college over there.
Yeah.
So I think they were like, let's bring him back. It's time.
Mm-hmm.
He spent 4 years. Let's have him go to like college. So they wanted me to go to college straight.
Okay.
So that's when they was like, it's time. But I was like, nah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're back in the States. Another transition. You're 4 years older than when you left. You have this different experience. What was transitioning back to the States? Like, you're in high school now.
Mm-hmm.
High school is, high school in America is like, it's something.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a different social experience.
Sure.
What was that like? I'm sure you probably came back with a little bit of an accent, right? Like, what were the social dynamics? What was the educational dynamics? How did you feel being back in the States?
Yeah. So I definitely had an accent, very deep accent. I was clowned.
Mm-hmm.
I was clowned a lot, bro. I had to learn a lot, bro. Like, I had to learn how to like dress, cause people like in middle school, people are getting their swag.
Yeah, you missed the awkward stage.
You
missed the awkward stage. Yeah,
I missed it, bro. So my awkward stage was in high school.
Yeah,
and mind you, my awkward stage was because I came back sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine like everybody getting their gear, everybody getting the J's, and like my sophomore year of high school, I'm wearing Under Armours, thinking I'm fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I know you got it bad.
Yeah, and when I came, like Nigeria instilled a confidence in me, like out of this world confidence.
Bro. Oh,
bro.
y'all are some confident people. I will tell you that.
Yeah, so you can imagine like I'm rocking Under Armours, I'm rocking mismatched colors, but I'm thinking I'm the shit.
Yeah,
So looking back, I'm like, damn, like they was really clowning me, and I was just like this.
But that's important though, and I think that's a valuable thing to have within you. Like, it doesn't matter what people are saying about me because I have this internal sense of self where you could be laughing at me to the point where you didn't even realize people were making fun of you until you look back at it.
Yeah.
That's a valuable thing to have, a self-confidence that's so high that it doesn't matter what people say or think about you.
Sure.
You still think you're the shit. So I think that's very important. Where did you go to high school? Was it like your local town?
Boston Green Academy in Brighton.
Okay. And so what were the dynamics in terms of like, okay, like was it a lot of black folks, was it a lot of black Americans, was it a lot of black Caribbeans, was it a lot of white folks? Like, what was the kind of racial and ethnic dynamic there?
A lot of black Americans, Hispanics. It the couple of white kids, like 5. Couple pretty mixed, but predominantly black Hispanic.
Got you. All right. And so then going to college, right? UMass Amherst is the biggest state school we have in Massachusetts. It's huge. Like, I don't know what the school population is. I don't know if you know, but it's very large.
Like what, 30 is it 30,000?
That's crazy because my school was like
OD.
6. And so what then was that transition like just generally as a 18, 19-year-old, right? You're in school, you're away from home, you're around 30,000 people. What was that like? And then again, kind of as we're tracking the evolution of your identity, how did that grow and evolve once you got to college?
Yeah. First and foremost, like when I got to college my sophomore year, I had a fire in me, like crazy fire that like when I came to the States, because mind you, those 4 years I'm in Nigeria, I was like, I need to get back to America. Like, when am I gonna get back to America? So those 4 years, like I'm thinking, yo, these are the moves I'm gonna do when I get back. So when I got to the States in high school, I took advantage of all the resources that were handed to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm taking advantage of everything. You know, I did summer search. I was in an MIT program, so I was just trying to I was just doing a lot of extracurricular stuff to beef in my resume because I wanted to be somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing that. You know, my freshman year of college, I went to Suffolk University. It was a cool transition. It wasn't a lot of. It was pretty. I was a commuter student, and I didn't really like my time at the school. Yeah. You know, I felt like I didn't really have anybody to like socialize with, to connect with, you know. And so I transferred to UMass Amherst.
Got you. Yeah, that makes sense. I know Garbins, who's on the camera right now, he commutes to school. And that's one thing that, you know, you don't necessarily, part of the college experience for me at least, I always felt like I'm going to college to socialize, not like just to like have fun and go to parties, but it's like it's that networking side of it where I'm gonna meet people that I wouldn't have the opportunity to meet elsewhere. Like I have friends from Nebraska and Idaho. Like I wouldn't meet those people otherwise. I met children of billionaires, right? Like those are the type of people you wouldn't have the opportunity to meet otherwise. And so I think definitely if you're commuting, you kind of miss out on that aspect. So once you get to UMass now, you're a sophomore. Most people come in there as freshmen, right? So some people have their groups of friends. What was it like trying to integrate with, different groups of friends, finding your tribe? What was that like?
Yeah, UMass Amherst, very interesting experience. So I came to UMass Amherst, like you said, by sophomore year, everybody has their friend group. Like it's very well established at that point. And so I came in trying to find my place, man. Mind you, I'm coming from a very small school, Suffolk University, and my high school was small, so I yearned for the typical college experience that you see on TV. Yeah. So that's why I went to UMass Amherst and I took off running, bro. I was very strategic during my time at UMass Amherst too. Like my first semester, I was like, I'm going to take the time to get to know as many people as possible. Like I went way out of my comfort zone, and I'm like, people will see this and probably be like, really? But I'm kind of like introverted. Yeah. I'm naturally an introverted person. Yeah. I have to force myself to be a very social person. Yeah. So that's what I was doing. There were times like I'd see a black person on campus and I'd go up to him. Like, hey, how you doing? Find some commonalities and, try to, because the more people you meet, especially like on a campus like that, the smaller your world feels.
Facts. That is absolutely a fact. Now, where did that, because you pointed to something very important. I tell people all the time I'm a naturally introverted person and nobody believes me because I talk so much. And I'll talk to anybody. But it was something that at one point in my life I had to be super intentional about doing, just like you said. Where did that come from? Where did that, idea that, even though I am naturally this way, I'm going to push myself out of that comfort zone. Where did that come from?
Yeah, man. You're asking really good questions, bro. Really nice questions. These are really, hard-hitting questions.
I try my best.
No, you're doing it, man. You're doing your thing. it just came from wanting to. I want to be great. You know, my man behind the camera, he want to be great. You want to be great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I guess, just I want to be somebody in life. You got to step out of your comfort zone. I believe your network is your net worth.
Absolutely.
Right. And one thing I've learned in high school, like, it's who you know. My resume, bro, like my high school resume, stacked, bro. It never got me no job. It never got me no job, bro. So it was always who I knew. And I guess, I just got to talk to people, meet people, and just had to, force myself to be out there.
Right. And so obviously that drive to be somebody important, be somebody great, has led you to do a ton of things. One of the most prominent ones, the one we really came here to talk about, is Diaspora Mass. So tell me when that started, how it started, where did the idea come from? Like, really, because it's something that, I went through the page. It's like, it's like a media outlet, it's like a news outlet. Like, you guys are really doing, the photo shoots you guys do, you're building community. I really, really, really admire that. But where did that come from? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah. Basically, it started in 2020, and I like being in front of the camera. I have a passion for photography, and I like meeting new people. Right. I like meeting my people. I like, and I was like, how do I combine my passion for photography with wanting to meet new people? Right. Because I've always felt like, based on the environments I've been in, I've not been able to meet people like that, meet a lot of people, and so that's how the Diaspora series came about. Kind of wanting to use photography to meet fellow Africans. One thing I realized, right, with I've been in a couple photo shoots. There's a lot of bonding that happens in photo shoots. A lot of people don't realize it's a lot of bonding, and I was like, you know what? I can use that concept of bonding, and use it to, bond with my fellow African people in Massachusetts. And we did the Diaspora series. Diaspora 1.0 came out in 2020. It was just, 5-6 men. And then 2021, which was last year, we introduced women into it. So that was like 30 people. Then we did Diaspora 4.0. It's like 60 people. So just growing, bro.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Can you talk about, the word diaspora in itself, right? It's such a heavy buzzword, especially in the Black community. I mean, my school, we talked about it. Like I said, there's a heavy Nigerian presence at my school, a lot of Caribbean folks. There's actually not that many Black Americans at my school. Well, I'm not there anymore, but there weren't a lot of Black Americans there. But, the concept of diaspora, just Black people from all, different places, it's an interesting thing to think about, especially, if we talk about different African countries, right? Most people, when they think of Africa, they think about it as this monolith, right? So can you kind of speak to this idea of highlighting the different cultures on the continent as they exist here, what that just idea of diaspora means to you?
So diaspora, definition of diaspora is the dispersion of people from their original homeland, and so diaspora was really all about, so Africa is, a continent, right? It's not a country. There's a lot of countries in Africa. So the Diaspora series was really about connecting people in Africa, connecting all those countries together, building a community in Massachusetts, and not just of Nigerians, because like I'm Nigerian, and I know like there's no place on earth you will go to you won't find a Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? I can meet Nigerians anytime. I want to meet other cultures. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to meet Cameroonians. I want to meet people from Chad. To this day, I've never met somebody from Chad. So that's really what it is. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, like I said, that's that's an important concept because a lot of times, especially in the discussions of blackness and stuff, we focus on our differences a ton. Oh, Nigerians are like this, Jamaicans are like that, Black Americans are like this.
Are you Jamaican?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm Jamaican and African American. So my dad born in Jamaica, my mom's born in the U.S. Her whole family's from the U.S. And so again, for me, just being in that unique position where it's like, okay, I understand, right? Part of my lineage doesn't come from this, from at least the U.S., right? Part of it does. And just understanding that I've never been really the type to just be like, oh, well, these people are like this. Like it's never been my narrative. At the end of the day, for me, if you're black, you're black, and I'm rooting for you. But it's super important. I think part of what you're doing is super important is building that connection, right? Because there is so much division. And part of it is just because we're in a place that encourages division. The U.S. is such an individualistic place, and it encourages that, especially among people who are not, the typical. So I think that's super important. What's one thing maybe that you've seen or has come out of the Diaspora series that you are super proud of?
One thing that has come out, I guess it's not one thing. Like it's a lot of things. Just
let's talk about a lot of things then.
Okay. I guess one, like I'm still close to the people we made the first video with. That means a lot to me, because I don't want to, I never want to create things and then they're for a single season. Like that's part of like why I do certain things to the core. I want things to last forever. I'm like, the way I live my life with legacy and impact constantly in mind. So yeah, just still being in contact with the first people from the video, and I guess with the Diaspora Mass page, just building a community, and not even just like the goal is to connect Africans, but also just bringing Black people in general, if you go on the Diaspora Mass page, you can learn about different African cultures, right? At the end of the day, Haitian, Jamaican, we all come from Africa. Yeah. At the end of the day, so yeah.
And that's, that's another important thing, because one thing that I've noticed, especially having now across the last 5-ish years, having interacted with so many different people from so many different countries, the commonalities are far outweigh the differences, right? Like, the same way I know plenty of people who are Haitian, right? Especially this guy right here, right? One of the things that you'll see from Haitian people all the time is like, you act up, you're getting sent back to Haiti, right? And I know plenty of people who are Nigerian or Ghanaian, right? Or it's the same thing. You act up, you're going back to the homeland, right? There are these commonalities. There are certain ways that people, even down to the accents, right? Even down to the music, right? There's so much commonality, and I think that's the most important thing, that once you start to highlight it and you're proud of it publicly, a lot of people gravitate towards that. Now, can you talk about the page, because the page is really impressive. The things you're doing, the education, right? I kind of just look at the slides and stuff that you have on there. I'm like, this is extremely impressive. It's very educational. Did that come out, like at what point, as you're doing the series, like the photography series and the videos, at what point were you like, what, let me make this page and let me add these elements to it?
Yeah, so the page came out from, the page was never supposed to be what it is now. The page really came from, I wanted a place to just put the pictures, because the Diaspora series is a video shoot and a photo shoot. There's a lot of pictures that come out of it. So I wanted a place where all the participants of the Diaspora series can go and find all the pictures. So eventually I was putting the pictures up, and then I was like, I could do something with this. It doesn't have to be just posting pictures on a page. And so I reached out to several people, right? Diaspora, I can't do Diaspora Mass by myself. There's a whole team behind Diaspora Mass. There's a lot of people that run that page, and so yeah, just reaching out to people who even the people, some of the people that post on the page, they're not African. They're Haitian. You don't have to be African. And so just finding like-minded individuals, that want the togetherness, that want to contribute to the Diaspora Mass mission. finding them and just bringing them on the team. And just we want to. I'm very big on, it doesn't matter who you are, you can find something.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just started a sports segment because I know there's a lot of people who like sports. I'm sure you do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just bringing out content that people can engage with.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk about the value of collaboration? I think that's something you just really pointed to. Part of the reason, honestly, one of the primary reasons I have this podcast is because I believe in collaboration. I know a fair amount of things, but I don't know everything, and I never will. And there's so much more in this world that I don't know than I do. And so what I like to do is, again, get people on here and say, what do you know? I want to learn from you. If nobody watches my podcast, I learn something from each one of these interviews, right? So I value collaboration very significantly. It sounds like you do as well. Can you speak to what collaboration means to you?
Yeah, man. Collaboration to me is, basically joining heads with other people, right? Multiple, what's that phrase? Two heads are better than one, right? Together we go farther. And that's just what collaboration is to me. Like you add to me, I add to you, right? It doesn't take nothing for me to add to you.
Exactly.
Right? You gain as well, and just vice versa, and we just helping each other grow. That's just collaboration to me.
Right. And I remember I think it was 7th grade science class, we learned about symbiotic relationships in nature. And I think that's what we should strive to have, when we look at our relationships with other people, right? The reason symbiotic relationships work in nature is because, like you said, both parties benefit. It doesn't take away, there are these fish that latch onto these whales, and the whale gives them protection and the fish clean the whales, right? They both benefit, right? You have strengths, I have strengths. Let's put them together and be stronger together. I think that's super important. And again, that's a very admirable thing that you not only took the idea, but then you implemented it. I wonder, who are some of the people that have influenced you, right? You're doing stuff that's probably influencing more people than you know, but who are some of the people who have influenced you to become the person you are, to value the things that you value, and to do the things that you do?
I mean, who are the people that influenced me? You could say Martin Luther King, Barack Obama, Michael Jordan, Drake, just people from different fields, right? I really admired Drake because of his consistency, right? No matter Drake could stop making music today and
still be rich as
hell. He'd still be popping, and the fact that he still has that fire in him, he still wants to continue. I want to be like that, I just want to be. I just want to keep going, because if you enjoy what you do, you're gonna keep going. So I admire Drake for that. Barack Obama for his leadership. Always, he displayed a very good representation of how much I say it. He was his tenure in as a president. He was a great example for Black people. I mean, you can see the difference between his presidency and Donald Trump's presidency.
Right.
If Barack Obama did half of the things Donald Trump was doing,
he would have been out of there for sure.
ASAP. So it's just seeing that, and just I'm influenced by a couple people, but more often than not, I motivate myself.
I think that's important, right? There's one of the things that I'm the same exact way, right? Like growing up, I used to watch Michael Jordan videotapes, and those things started to influence me. But at this point, I kind of know what I want. I know I want to be great. I know I'm going to go get it, and so that's what drives me. But I think it's important to understand where those foundations come from and how different people have contributed to them. And the thing about Obama is funny. He carried himself the way he carried himself. I think that was the most impressive. One, he's a great speaker, and I really value communication. But it's just, the aura that he has, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he walks into a room, you feel it. And I think that's something that I really look to kind of emulate. Now, you spoke about versatility with Drake. You are a versatile person, right? You don't just have the Diaspora series. You have a lot of things going on. I know you're like a notary public, right? You do a bunch of different things. Can you talk about some of the other things you got going on? I know I want to talk about the scholarship too, but talk about some of the other things that you do, what they mean to you, why you do them.
The notary public was really with, I wanted to just I'm somebody, I want to serve others. Since I was young, that's always been my end goal in life. Nothing else really matters to me. I think, you know, I think I'm trying to get, like, I think, when you die, there's this saying that says you die two deaths, right? The first one is when you die, and the second one is when the last person says your name. And I think about that all the time. I want to be remembered eons, after I'm gone. So I live my life every day with that purpose. But yeah, bro, I'm in my life to serve others. Like, I want to help people. That's all I've ever wanted to do. That's why, I started the scholarship, Diaspora Mass, Notary Public, Notary Public. People need, like, if you need an important document notarized, you can come to me. I like being somebody that people can come to for multiple things, for different things,
No, that's amazing. Talk about the scholarship, man, because I think that's like, I value education to the utmost degree. I mean, like, I went to Harvard. Like, I mean, that was one of the things that growing up, it was like, you're going to go to college. And then in my head, I said, okay, if I'm going to go to college, I'm going to go to the best one.
Sure.
And so, education, I tutor now, what I'm saying? Like, I really value education. And so, to be able to provide something that will help someone further their education, I think, again, is extremely, extremely admirable. So talk about the scholarship again. How did you get that off the ground? I think that's the most impressive thing. Like, wanting to have a scholarship, yeah, cool. Like, but then you got it off the ground, you did it. Can you talk about that process?
Yeah. The scholarship, it was hard, man. It wasn't easy. I think the Generational Leaders Scholarship Project, we were planning it for like a year and a couple months before it even launched. So basically, right, I think about the people that helped me. I was a scholar athlete in school. I got a scholarship to go to Suffolk University, and I was a part of Summer Search, which love that organization. And what I got from both was Summer Search was almost therapeutic to me, right? After school, I would go talk to a mentor, and we would just talk about different things. Like, me and my mentor, we talked about deep things, right? So I wanted to incorporate that into my scholarship. I wanted to give back. And the Scholar Athlete Scholarship, I remember when we went to the gala, right? Because it was different schools that were coming to the gala, and basically they were celebrating the winners. So I remember, like, the red carpet, right? Because you would have thought, it was like an Oscar or something. Like, it was really just, I got what, $3,000, like, what, for 2 years per semester. You would have thought it was this big thing, but the way they carried it meant a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they treated us like it was bigger than what it was. And so I wanted to mesh those two together with GLP scholarship. And we partnered with KPA, which is the Criollas Professional Association, and they really helped us get us off the ground.
That's amazing. Again, being able to provide tangible resources so that people can further their education is something that's extremely important. It benefits the community, and it benefits more than just the individual, right? the fact that, I mean, you're an example of it. The fact that you reach a certain level of education, right? You're then able to benefit so many more people,
Yeah.
and so the fact that you're providing then that ability to other people is going to
Yeah.
benefit so many more people, which I think is super important. So to wrap things up, I mean, we've talked a lot about the stuff you've done, the stuff you are doing. I want to look forward now, and talk about where you want to go. You've had a major impact on a lot of people's lives. You've grown a lot up to this point. How do you see yourself growing? Where do you want to grow? What types of things do you want to do over the next year, 3 years, 5 years?
So I have a lot of ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to continue to, serve my community.
Mm-hmm.
Just serve Massachusetts, any way I can. I don't want to say too much, but my next project will be something about financial literacy.
Mm-hmm. Very important.
I'm very big on that, honestly. And this is kind of like everybody has their own take on it,
Mm-hmm.
but I think financial empowerment is, I feel like empowering ourselves financially is more effective than like
Say it, bro. Say it, because what you're about to say is the truth. Say it.
I feel like as Black people, empowering ourselves financially is more effective than like protesting.
It is. You are absolutely correct about that.
People are gonna argue. I've had debates with people over that, but I truly feel like as a Black people, if fix our credit scores, right? You know, save money, invest, and stuff like that. I think we will better ourselves as a community than anything else we can do. That's just how I genuinely feel.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to, teach others, because I've been on my own financial literacy journey since my freshman year of college. So being able to teach others, how to manage money and stuff like that is very key for me. It's very important.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I'm gonna double down, and I don't care who disagrees. I think it's evident. You look at every other community, these ethnic enclaves that exist. The reason that they're able to do what they do, sustain themselves, is because they have a level of economic empowerment. They have a level of economic independence. You go to Black communities, we don't own anything. You look at the median wealth of an average white family versus a Black family. It's like a $200,000 difference, right? That is it. It is economics that runs a capitalistic society, and so. You look at the most successful, social movements, Black Panther Party. What are they talking about? Economic empowerment. Why do they kill MLK? Because he was talking about economic empowerment.
Oh
right?
my God!
You get what I'm saying? Like the clues are there, and so I'm very glad you said that. And I'm very glad that there are people who are actively, working on that. And so, I just want to end it on that note that I really think I've said this word a lot. Today during this interview, but all of the work you're doing is extremely admirable and it's extremely important. So I want to thank you for doing it, and I hope you are getting the recognition from other people for the stuff that you're doing. And even if you're not, just know that you are seen, and I think a lot more people are being affected positively by the work that you're doing. So I appreciate you coming on here, man, telling your story, talking about the things that you're into. And before we go, where can people find you and the stuff you do?
Yeah. King_Edosa on IG, Twitter, and yeah, IG, Twitter, and you can follow Diaspora Mass at Diaspora Mass on IG, Twitter, TikTok, and stuff like that. But yeah,
perfect. So once again, Edosa, appreciate you coming on. This has been another episode. All of the information in terms of his socials, the Diaspora socials, they'll be in the description. If you want to follow me, I'm on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at _Trev Woods. The podcast is on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram at the Global Renaissance Pod. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Music, give me a review. 5 stars, because this was a 5-star interview. If you're on YouTube watching this, like, comment, subscribe. You know how it goes. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.
Peace.